Okay class, this is a very important lesson going to show you how to match your CPU, motherboard, memory, and hard drive. They all need to be matched in such a way that they fit together the right way. Let me just show you. Okay, first thing I would pick out would be the CPU. Now, you remember, I've given you a $1,300 budget. If I pick the one that's going to fit inside your budget, pretty much all the students pick the same one I picked, and then it's a useless exercise. So I'm not doing that. I'm picking the most expensive one, the one that you can't buy. Then you use this same technique, and you go find the one that you can buy. So on the CPU page of Tiger Direct, I'm going to go to Processor Interface, meaning Socket, and I'm going to use LGA 2011. That's for the i7 sort of top of the line processors, so they're going to be way too expensive for you to buy. And that's why I'm doing this, because you won't be able to pick the same one I did. Now I'm going to pick this i7 3930K because it's a third generation processor, and that's what we pretty much spoke about all year in 2013. So I'm going to click on that. And does it tell me anything about it that's real important? Well, I'll tell you. Really, it's got all good stuff, Turbo Boost 2.0 and the hyper-threading and virtualization and all this kind of good stuff. But really, for matching, all I really need to know is this. What is the socket? And it's an LGA 2011. I got a nice link here to go to the motherboard section that supports this. But I think I'll just go do that myself. And so what I did is I went to the motherboard section and I clicked on ASUS because I like ASUS motherboards. You can pick any one you want, but I'm choosing ASUS. And then I kind of like this name Sabertooth, so I'm going to go with that one. But let me check and see. I got to make sure I get the right socket. So I'm going to come over here and say LG 2011. LGA 2011, I should say. And over here it says, yep, LGA 2011 ASUS Sabertooth. So I'm going to pick that one. And then you say, okay, well, what about the memory? Well, now that I've picked my motherboard, which I know is an LGA 2011, does it support an i7 chip? Let's go down here and see. Got all kinds of pictures and stuff. Usually somewhere it says that. And you see it's right over here. Processor supported, second generation Intel Core i7. Actually, I thought the 3930 was a third generation, but I don't know. But it supports the i7 processor that has an LGA 2011 interface. So we're going to go with this motherboard. Now what's important is we got to pick the memory. So before I go look at memory, let me see. Memory supported DDR3, 1333, 1066, 1600 megahertz, or 1866. And now that you know the speeds that it supports, you also have to know, is it dual channel or triple channel? And I don't really see that listed here anywhere. Maybe I'm missing it. But I do know this. If I go back up and look at the picture of the motherboard, you'll see that it has 4 memory slots on one side and 4 memory slots on the other. 2 beige, 2 black over here, 2 beige, 2 black over here. So this would be a dual channel motherboard that supports 8 sticks. So you could put them in pairs of 2, pairs of 4, but you can't put them in pairs of 3. So pairs of 2, 4, and 8 would be dual channel. Pairs of 3, 6, and 9 would be triple channel. So this is a dual channel motherboard. Requires dual channel memory. So we go over to memory, and we're going to look for, oh, and look at this, ECC for servers. Remember I mentioned that to you, so we don't want that type, of course. And here's memory speeds. Here's also memory speeds. Well, what's that about? Well, if you remember with the memory lesson, I said that these bigger numbers are the bandwidth. They're 8 times what this is. Tiger Direct chooses to list both. It can be a little confusing, especially there's a number down here, 1066 megahertz, and over here it's 10600 bandwidth. Kind of similar numbers, but really the one we want is 1600, because if I go back to the motherboard and look down at the speeds, you'll see that it goes up to 1600. I can use the 1866, but this 1600 is a much more popular memory. I just know that. In fact, if we look at this, I mean, they don't even have the 1866. I don't even see it listed here. Oh, here it is. They have 36 of those. They have 154 of the 1600. So again, price performance curve. Um, the better performance, the more you pay, but also the thing that people make more of is usually cheaper as well. So when you're looking at this and you say all the different speeds, when you see this one, it's got the most ones available, usually means that's where you're going to get a better price. So we're going to pick that one. Or I'm going to pick that one. And then I'm also going to go down and say, hey, this is dual channel. So here we got memory channels, dual, single, triple, quad. So I'm going to go to dual. To be honest with you, I don't know about the quad. That's kind of new to me. And then I'm going to just pick any old one here. That's how you pick it. So here's 1600 dual channel memory. I'm just going to pick this one. Notice it's $150. It's 16 gigabytes, so 8 gigabytes on each one. Okay, I'm going to pick that one. And then the last thing would be the hard drive. And what's important about the hard drive? Well, if we go back to the motherboard again, and everything's getting matched up with the motherboard, as you can see. You pick the processor first, but everything gets matched up to the motherboard. And I think it said it at the top, so let me go up there. Right here is serial ATA 6 gigabits per second. So we got to make sure we get a hard drive that has that. Why get one that's slower and not go as fast as the motherboard would permit? So let's look for that. We got and please make sure you do this. A lot of people past years would choose external hard drives. You need a hard drive to go inside your computer, so it's an internal hard drive. So it's internal serial ATA right here, not PATA. That's the real old stuff. See, there's only 6 of them because it's really old. There's 822 of these. So again, you can see that's the most popular one. That's where you're going to get the best price, and that's the one you have to get anyway because it's internal serial ATA. You click on that. And then we have manufacturers. They don't have a lot of search items here. I don't really know why. I guess maybe the older serial ATA things are going out of style. So there's all types of hard drive manufacturers. But if you scroll down here, WD for Western Digital, 76. Seagate 129. Western Digital is usually bigger, so that kind of surprises me. But I did mention that during our hard drive lesson. Western Digital, Seagate, and I think Maxtor is another big one, which they don't even have listed here. That might just be a Tiger Direct thing where they don't like selling that brand. I don't know. So any one of these that say serial ATA 3 would be good. You want to stay away from serial ATA 1. So there's other things about hard drives too that we went over, but I just want to point out that you need to match up the interface with the interface of the motherboard. So there you have it. You pick your processor. It's got a 2011 socket. So you go to a motherboard, has to have a 2011 socket. Then you go and check the speed of your memory, 1600. And then you go and get your memory, 1600, dual channel, not triple channel, because we didn't have 3 colored slots. We had going up by 2s. And then the last thing was the hard drive to match the motherboard with the serial ATA, 6 gigabits per second. So that's how you match up your 4 items.